What's up, you guys? I got a treat for you today. This episode has 2 stories in it. Now, when asking the question, what makes a problem player, there are a ton of different answers out there. I mean, it's gonna mean different things to different people because different people like different things. Yo, bars, son. I'm an idiot. My point is, there is a common thread throughout all answers, and that is a problem player is somebody that takes away the fun for the other people at the table. And honestly, there are very few that can just siphon the fun from a table the way that a player with main character syndrome can. Our first story today features a dungeon master's struggle dealing with a problem player suffering from this main character syndrome. However, without giving too much away, unlike most of the RPG horror stories out there, this one actually has a good ending. Well, for 80% of the table. All right, without further ado, I'm Big Jesse. Let's get into it. So I decided to run a new game. I had a player from an old campaign and 3 others I had never played with previously. 2 of them were brand new, never having played before, while one of them, the problem player, we'll call her Mary, said all her previous games were wrapping up soon, so she'd be available. I was excited to start and happy to work with them to get everyone set up. I helped them with their backstories to make sure they fit within the world I was planning. Everyone was fine except Mary, who sent me a really long backstory which centered around her character being the chosen one, and that she had previously slayed a dragon. I told her it didn't really make sense as they were starting from level 1. She agreed to rework her backstory. She sent me a new version about how her PC, still being the chosen one, was cursed by her jealous stepbrother, causing her to lose her powers. I worked with her and tweaked the story a lot in order to make it so she wasn't something so unbelievable and OP, since I wasn't quite sure how to make it work in game with normal leveling up. She wasn't happy about the changes, but in the end, she did agree to them. You know, OP did a great job here. Having a player that wants an epic backstory isn't something that's out of left field, and it's totally fine as long as it works within the confines of the setting. When you're level 1, narratively, how can it work to have a character that has defeated a dragon end up on a mission where they're having trouble fighting off some goblins? It's gonna be hard to justify that. So good job on OP for working with this character and end up coming up with a solution that they can both agree on to ensure that everybody can have fun at the table. So kudos. All right, let's get back to it. I then made a group where they could all talk, and Mary was happy that there was another girl in the group beside her. A day after I talked with Mary about her character, she sent me a message saying that she and the other girl talked and decided to change their backstories a bit. The new story had no change in Mary's character, while the new girl was now basically her hype man and the one who recorded Mary's epic adventures. Which is fine as long as that is what the new girl wanted. So I privately asked the new girl about these changes just to follow up, and she was clearly not pleased with the rewrite of her PC's backstory. Apparently she didn't agree to anything, but Mary had assumed her saying, let's see, was her agreeing to these changes, then took it upon herself to message me the rewrite. I probably, in retrospect, should have kicked her out right then and there, but I did not. Retrospect is always 2020, right? Even so, I think that that OP is just falling victim to the age-old DM second-guessing themselves. I don't think they were wrong in this situation. I wouldn't have kicked this player. I would have been upset and frustrated with them, but the game not really starting yet, I would have just looked at it as an excited player that thought an idea was cool and selfishly didn't think of the other player, the new player they were steamrolling at the time. I would have kept them in the game, but I also would have had a long conversation with them. I would have stressed the importance of the atmosphere that I want at the table for a new player. Most new players, in my experience, are timid players, and I want an atmosphere at the table that is very accepting and encourages creativity. This helps build that trust that is so important between a DM and their players, and honestly the players between themselves. And this situation, what this player did was not conducive with that, to say the least. But I think OP, I think they did a good job in this situation. Fast forward to our first session, and it went well, besides Mary wasting no time in telling everyone how awesome my character is and how much stronger she is than all of your little characters. She was level 1 just like the rest of the party. I mean, it was a bit annoying, but nothing too major. In the second session, I had them meet the guild master, who was a national hero. He classified the group as an official adventuring party and insisted they take along one of his students so that she could learn how to be an adventurer. I sort of planned for her to be a DMPC who would level up along with the party and someone they would continue to engage with earlier on in the campaign. The party seemed to like her. Mary eventually ended up insulting the guild master, saying, "He's most likely a fraud." Now for the NPC that was with them, she looked up to the guild master as he had saved her village when she was a child and over the years became her mentor. So that NPC responded by saying, "That's my mentor and a great man, so I'm gonna need you to take that back." Mary did not like this at all. She completely broke character and started telling me how I had instantly ruined a good female character by making her only personality trait be that she likes some guy. I told her that wasn't the case and that NPC had a lot more to her personality. Looking up to the guildmaster was just a part of that character's personality and absolutely not the entirety of it. The others also joined in, telling Mary she was being rude and that she needed to stop arguing. She did not listen. Mary continued arguing and ended up breaking down into tears and eventually left the call and the group. She ended up sending a message to the other girl advising her she should leave as well because this group was clearly misogynistic and she would regret staying. She ignored Mary and instead of leaving, told us she had a friend that could join the game. So now I have 4 players again, with the game being infinitely better. So there was one update that OP made to this, and they just wanted to make it clear that the NPC was not going to outshine anyone. She was supposed to be the same level as the party and was going to meet them every once in a while. She was mostly for exposition, etc. So with these stories, we only get one side most of the time. And if this is actually how this went down, yo, Mary Sue, who hurt you? Who hurt you to act like this? I can't imagine reacting in such a volatile way with an NPC at the beginning of a game with a bunch of people that you don't know. It's just, it's so cringe. And oh man, it must have been so awkward in that moment. But the end, this table dodged a bullet. That's what it sounds like. I'm glad that they were able to turn it into a fun game, and I'm glad that they're all having fun at the table now. After a situation like that, it's very easy to look back on it and go, oh man, I should have booted that player earlier, or I could have done this or could have done that. But at the end, like, I don't think anybody could have predicted that kind of reaction to your NPCs or in a game at a table full of strangers. This is the first time they're all playing together. It is wild, and honestly, tip of the hat to the OP. I think that you handled the situation the best that you could with the information that you had. So kudos. Now, speaking of acting inappropriate, appropriately, at a table full of strangers that you've never played with before, this next story has one of the wildest questions that one player had for another during character description, and it's so wild and beyond cringe. Simple social norms get thrown out of the window with some of these stories, and it's just crazy to me. Almost as crazy as not subscribing. Because, I mean, if you subscribe, you'll have good luck for a full year. Well, that's not true, but I mean, like, why risk it, right? Okay, without further ado, let's get into it. During the beginning of an online one-shot adventure, I was just finishing the description of my character, an orc ranger from the Whispering Forest off the coast of Edgewater, when another player, let's just call him that guy, asked me the following.
That's cool and all, but what race is your orc?
He's an orc. I think I mentioned that considering you said the race that he is in the question that you asked.
No, like, you know, what color is he?
Well, a grayish, light bluish sort of color.
Stop playing dumb, you know what I mean. Is he black, white, Asian, Indian, or what?
I was speechless. I said orc, but he just got more annoyed. The guy was absolutely insistent about having a real world ethnicity to assign to my non-human fantasy character. I eventually said Mongolian just to shut him up. This really isn't that much of a horror story. The game was actually fine, that guy aside, but
what race is your orc?
Guy is going to live rent-free inside my brain for a very long time. You know, there's one question that I would love to get the answer to, and that is, why would you assign real-world race to a fantasy non-human character? And not because I believe that there's an acceptable answer to that question. I just really would love to hear exactly how they justify asking this kind of a question, because it's really weird and pretty telling. I mean, I don't think that there is a good answer here. To me, I mean, if I were a betting man, I would wager it has to do with applying racial stereotypes to player characters, which, if true, is so beyond not okay. And where is the DM in this? Like, why didn't they jump in? The second it turned to what it was, that's when, nope, you stop that shit right off the bat. It's so weird, and I honestly, I don't know what I would do at the table. I would be dumbfounded. It would genuinely make me uncomfortable, which is hard to do for me. For anyone that knows me, you know that's true. I would lay into them pretty good, and I would ask them questions so that they would tell me exactly how racist they are in this, just so that I can boot them. I don't like, they don't know people in this game. It's so baffling how, like I said before, how people just don't know normal social, I can't even say it's social etiquette. Like, what are you doing? Why on earth are you trying to go down this path? It's so gross. Oh, what a dick. All right. Well, let me know down in the comments whether you agree or disagree. And if you want to support the channel, the easiest way is to give this video a like and consider subscribing. It's free. Now, if you have a story of your own you'd like to share, or if you wanted to recommend one you'd like to hear me do, or if you just wanted to say hi, come join the Big Jesse Discord. Link is in the description. I'm Big Jesse, and thank you so much for watching. Later.